What's happening YouTube? Welcome back to another video and welcome back to my MK2 Focus ST. Now this is my main car and this is a dream car for mine, and well, it's in a bit of a sorry state. But before we get on to that, I just want to say, if this is the first time when you see my videos, welcome. If it's not, and it is, make sure you press that subscribe button. I'm doing a Road to RS series where I'm trying to flip and trade my way up to a MK2 Focus RS. This isn't a flip car, this is also a dream of MK2 Focus ST. But this is what I want you to do. You to cast your mind back about 18 months ago when I went to Ford Fair 2024 and I put up this video. Ford Fair 2024 was a disaster, but it was a disaster for me. I'm sure the event was amazing. Now, the reason it was a disaster for me is because I've rushed to get the last couple of mods done, RS intake, plenum and etc. done to the car, and I then got it mapped by Dream Science and I got the Mod X. Now, deep down, what I knew was that I needed a clutch to take this power, but I ignored that deep down feeling and I went to Ford Fair anyway, and the clutch started slipping. And it's been slipping ever since. It's been slipping for the last 18 months and I've just kind of rolled with it. It's progressively got worse over the last 18 months. So I guess that means today's the day. And if you've watched any of this build or any of the cars that I've built on this channel, on the Road to RS series or just in general, you should hopefully know that I like to do things properly. And that's why it's took so long. Rather than just do a clutch, I'm also doing a Quaife limited slip diff. So this is a big job, and it's a big job for me to be doing on my driveway, and if that's not worth a subscribe, then I don't know what is. Now, as you can see, I have already jumped ahead and the car is already in the air and sat on jack stands. I've also cracked off the wheel nuts on the front. We are going to be starting up top. All this is coming off, intake's coming off, the battery's got to come out to get to the gearbox, and we'll just kind of go from there. I am giving myself 3 days to do this job. I hope that's not enough. If it's not, I really don't know what we're going to do, because I won't have a car if it's not enough, and it's going to be sat on jack stands overnight, but oh well. So I started by removing the windscreen wipers and the scuttle panel, followed by the RS crossover. Once I removed the RS crossover, I moved on to the battery and the battery tray, and they unplugged the wiring harness, which you can see in the bottom right corner of the screen, from the fuse box, so I could pull the wiring loom off the top of the gearbox. I then removed the starter motor. Ah, yes! Whew. Whew. Right, okay, so we've been cracking on. What have we been cracking on? Take a look at it. Intake, battery, starter motor, crank sensor with its mounting bracket. That's probably the hardest little thing to get off. Them torque bolts are fiddled with for ages. Disconnected the clutch line here. That's off. Shifter cables are off, and all this wiring is now free from the top of the gearbox. So everything above the gearbox is now free from the car. So I guess that only means one thing. We need to get underneath and get everything attached underneath for the gearbox off the car, and then we can start trying to get this box out. Right, so it turns out if you don't press record on your GoPro, it don't record anything. It's funny that, isn't it? So I've been stripping down the underside. Slowly but surely we're getting there, and I'm taking my time because I'm really fucking petrified of doing this job. Let me show you up. So I've got a support beam across the top to hold support the engine. People do it off jack. I'm not that confident, and I wanted to do it kind of the safest way possible. So I bought this from Machine Mart, and it hooks on to this mount here. Underneath then, the hard pipe that connects the intercooler to the turbo in the middle is off. The driver side drive shaft is off. Took the ball joints off the wishbones, push them down to get them off. Now, problem, passenger side, passenger side drive shaft. I can't get it out of the drive shaft. But if you look here on the wishbone, it's actually leaking. Now, it was already leaking. I didn't know it was leaking till I started doing this job and I noticed it, but it's split. So my plan is I'm going to cut the boot open and take the drive shaft out and leave the coupling in the gearbox, because I'm going to have to replace it anyway. And then I'm going to take, once the gearbox is out of the car, I'll take the coupling out and then we'll replace it all when it's back, and then we'll rebuild the drive shaft with a new boot once I've got it from Euro Car Parts. I'm absolutely petrified doing this job. I proper took my time. I've been at it about 4.5, 5 hours nearly now, but I don't think we're too far away from getting the gearbox off the car. Next job is taking the dog bone mount off and then cracking off all the gearbox bolts. I'm not sure how many there is, if I'm completely honest, but I think that's the next job. Well, Well, what a day that's been. Been at it about 4 hours, but I'm happy to report the gearbox is off the car. That is our gearbox. Now I really do apologise because I've not filmed any of the underneath. It's a long process and I didn't film any of it, and for that I genuinely apologise, because like I just needed to learn how to do it, if that makes sense. I couldn't concentrate on learning how to take this gearbox off and concentrate on filming a video at the same time, so I've just had to crack on, and I apologise, and I'll talk you through it when we're putting the car back together, because I will film that process. But the important thing is the gearbox is off the car and it's the end of the day. But this is what we're going to do. Today we're going to tidy up this monstrosity of a mess that we've made, and tomorrow we're going to be stripping the gearbox in half and putting in the quaife diff. I need to redo that drive shaft because the seal's split and I've got new bearings and a CV joint kit to go on, so I'll strip that apart and I'll put that back together, so you'll see that, and you'll see the diff going in the car as well, in the gearbox, and we'll seal the gearbox back up. And that's probably all I will do for tomorrow, because I want to let that sealant sit on that gearbox to make sure it sits properly and it doesn't leak, because the last thing we want to do is put this gearbox back in the car and it leaks. So that is the end of today. I'm gonna have a tidy up. If I don't deserve a fucking subscribe after taking a gearbox out of my Focus ST on my drive, and then I really do not, genuinely do not know what deserves a subscribe, because this is epic. Good morning, and welcome to day 2 of the Focus RS clutch and quaife diff install. I woke up this morning kind of questioning my life decisions. I'll insert a picture on screen now what the car looked on my drive last night. As you can see, I covered it up the best I could. So we're taking kind of each one step at a time. Yesterday, like I said already, I didn't really feel much, and for that I do apologise. It was just I wanted to get the job done, and it was hard to concentrate on doing something I'd never done before. That was difficult, as well as filming something that was difficult. So I didn't film that much, but today is diff day, so that's what I'm going to do first this morning. We're going to be putting the diff in the gearbox, and we're going to be installing the clutch. Scrap that, we're going to be putting the diff in the gearbox. We're going to be changing our CV boot and our drive shaft, because we've got a new one on them because that was split. And then we're going to nip out and buy a torque wrench, with the one I've ordered's not come, and then we're hopefully going to be putting the gearbox back on the car. At least I want the, if I can, ideally today the box will be on the car, and then tomorrow it'll be a case of just kind of building everything back up. So hopefully that's the plan. Now, yesterday I started at about 9:30 and I finished at about 3:30. So I did 6 hours yesterday. The box was actually out of the car for about 3 o'clock. So it took me about 5.5 hours to get the gearbox out of the car, which I don't think is bad going for me here on the driveway on my own as well. I ain't got another pair of hands. I was doing it on my own. It's difficult. So today, now it's 8 o'clock in the morning, so I started a little bit earlier. Ideally, the box and the drive shaft will be rebuilt in the next 2 hours. Right, gearbox then. I've just nipped out and got a few bits that were needed, and I've been to the garage, and the bearings are now pressed onto the diff. So I'm scared, but let's have a roll. So selector fork needs to come out. Selector fork is out. That's that. Right, we've then turned the gearbox on its side, and I'm going to get all these 10mm bolts out. Bolts I can remove, next job. Gently. Right, so not that I can explain too much of what we're looking at here. Gears, crown wheels. So I'm going to remove the old diff. That's where our new diff will sit. These are 13mm. Would love a good 13mm on this Focus, is what I found out. So just gonna, it shouldn't be too tight. can't believe I've got a diff in my hands. And it was all going so well up until this point. As I picked up the Quaife diff, it slipped out of my hand, I dropped it, and the bearings that I'd spent £130 on kind of fell to pieces. And on the inspection of the gearbox, I kind of decided that the box wasn't worth putting that diff in anyway, so I didn't put the Quaife diff in the gearbox, and we're going to save that for when we get a reconned gearbox for the car. And I just lost my way at this point with the job, and I only did one thing and one thing only, and that is I rang my dad for help. My dad drove over, he helped me take the old flywheel and clutch off and put the new one on, he helped me rebuild the drive shaft, he helped me put the box back in the car, and he helped me get to the car back to a state where it could sit on jack stands, and we left it there. The underside of the car was built. He now joined me 3 weeks later, and we're going to finish off getting this car back on the road. Right, right, it's been about 3 weeks since I last fixed up the camera or did anything with the ST. This job's been very difficult, extremely difficult, a lot more difficult than I expected it to be, and I needed help. Like I said previously, my dad came to help me, and I got to the point where the gearbox was back in the car and the drive shafts were back in. Now I expected to encounter a couple of problems along the way of doing this job, mainly because the car is a 2009, so it's 16 years old, and it's done not too far off about 100,000 miles. So one of the problems that you saw was this drive shaft boot was leaking, so I had to replace that, new grease, etc. The other one was also leaking but not split, it was leaking from around, so I just cleaned it all up and replaced the clips. That's back in, that's good to go. Another problem that I have encountered, which I could have left and couldn't have it, but I just thought because the car's here it's best to do. As you can see, I know you're going to think this surface rust, but if you look on the inside of the disc, they're absolutely ruined. It made sense to me that while the car's in this position and in this state, that we do the front discs and pads as well. I've got some C-hook discs, and I've got some yellow stuff EBC pads for the front of the car, so that's that job. Other things that we need to do is also we need to drop the oil, because the car's not far off due its yearly oil change. So again, while it's in this position, we might as well change the oil so we're not having to come back to it at a later date. And also now our Pro Hold full coolant kit has arrived, so we might as well change them while we're here as well. Now I think the order I'm going to do this job, I think we're going to drop the oil and drop the oil, change the oil filter, put the oil back in, then going to drop the coolant, change the coolant hoses. We're then going to do the front brakes, and then we're going to build everything back up in the engine bay that needs to be built back up to get the car back on the floor and running. Now fortunately for me, my lovely mother-in-law has a Mazda Bongo, and that's kind of what I've been using to get to and from work and kind of live my life effectively while this car's been off the road. Now as well as that, I also bought another car for the Rotor RS series that I'm doing, and if you don't know what the Rotor RS series is, I'm buying and selling and swapping cars till I can successfully go out and purchase a Focus RS. And the next car in that series is this 2008 Mark II Audi TT. Now I've already filmed the reveal video, I've ordered the parts it needs, which are sat in the garage, and some getting delivered today. And the video on this car will be dropping after the Focus one, so if you're interested in that series, make sure you press subscribe and wait one more week for the next video. But let's get back to this Mark II Focus ST that's giving me a little bit of pain. Now I have done a couple of dedicated servicing videos where I just service the car in the videos, but just for a quick recap, I always tend to use a Bosch filter. I know there's many people out there that say there's better brands such as Crosslands, Febby Bilstein, etc., but Bosch is my go-to brand, so that's the brand I use. And I always put in, and I have ever since I've owned the car, this Miller's Oil E Performance Engine Oil 5W30, and I've never had any issues, and I've been using this car now. I've had this car coming up 5 years. I've never had any issues with it, with using this oil in the car, and I've done about 4 or 5, I think this will be the 6th oil change I've done since I've had it. So that's my go-to stuff. So what we're going to do first is oil filter housing onto the new oil filter on the new housing, that back in, and then what I'm going to do is, because the car's not level, is I'm going to put 6 litres of oil in, do the other jobs that I've already mentioned, and then we put the car on the floor. I'll then check the oil level and I'll top up as I needed, but usually it takes around 6.5 litres. So I replaced my sump plug last year on this for this mild tune one, and these are a bit bigger. I think the standard ones are about 17 or 19, these are 22. So I'm just going to crack it off and then we'll drain the oil. Usually take around 6 to 6.5 litres, these engines. Now appreciate the engine is cold, so it might take a little bit longer to drain. I'm just going to go up top and loosen stuff off. Oil filter housing on these is a big 36. I put that on a wobbly head so it gives you a better chance of getting it off smoothly. Again, not too tight. Oil filter housing. As you can see, the oil filter is actually not too bad. It's just starting to crinkle a little bit, so it was due a change. It's not done the miles it needs for its oil change, but it's definitely been round about 10 months since I last did it, so it's not too far off, but we've got a nice new one to go. Right, so that's the oil dropped out, the filter changed, and I put 6 litres of oil in. But I need to remember before I start the car back on the floor, let's check the oil level, because I put 6 litres in. Like I said, these cars take about, I think it's about 6.5 litres from memory. So next we need to drop the coolant so we can change all these coolant lines. I'm hoping it shouldn't be too difficult. I've done it again where we've just cracked on, but look, the car is on the floor. Everything's back together in the engine bay. I've done the front brakes. I've not put the coolant hoses on. So the reason I've not put the coolant hoses on before I get hate in the comments, because I've said I'm going to do a lot in this video and I haven't done a lot of things I'm going to say in this video. And the reason is I just need this car working. Like, I've got so much anxiety around this job, and I just need it working. So we've done what we can. All the clips for the hoses were rusty. I've got new ones, but I just need the car to work and satisfy myself that it's working. So, moment of truth, let's find out if she starts. I'm absolutely begging this car right now to start. She runs! It runs! It runs! She runs! It absolutely runs! I have missed that 5-pot. I have missed that 5-pot. We need to set the heaters inside. I'm so excited. We're driving, we are driving, the clutch is in and we're driving. We've got a bit of a noise, but that noise was there before, so I'm not too worried about it. I think it's just the heat shield rattling on the exhaust. I tell you what we are doing though, we'll have a pull in this tunnel. Man's got an RS clutch. The gearbox feels fine, even though I've split it in pieces. Like I said, we haven't got the quake diffing because it kind of all went a bit wrong. The brakes feel good, the bedding in. I don't really know what to say. Like, the car drives absolutely perfect. The clutch feels amazing. We're at temperature, we've bled the coolant. Again, the coolant hoses have not gone on. This video, it's been a bit like, I'm gonna fit this and I haven't done it. But my car's back on the road and that is the main thing. So, we've done an RS clutch on the drive, and if that's not worth a subscribe, I really don't know what is. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned. Road to RS series, that's what's up next. The TT, we need to get it done and move on to the next one. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.